Hi, I'm Eshaan M reporting for Kids First, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. Jacob Chase, writer and director of Come Play, a new vision in horror. Mr. Chase's scripts have landed on the 2018 and 2019 hit list for the best specs of the year. He was listed as one of Hollywood's top 100 new writers on the 2017 Young and Hungry list. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me today, Jacob. Let's get into it. So I'm curious, what drew you to write and direct Come Play?
Well, I wanted to make a film that was both very scary and suspenseful, but also had a ton of heart and compassion, and really sort of harkened back to sort of the Amblin movies I grew up with that made me want to be a filmmaker in the first place, that weren't afraid to scare kids, but at the same time were very real and authentic.
What do you think is the most important part of writing a horror screenplay?
I think the most important part of writing a horror screenplay is caring about the characters. Really, we're only going to be afraid for them if we care if they die, and so creating really authentic characters that are interesting and that's the most important ingredient, and then all of the suspense and horror and monster stuff is just the icing on the cake.
As a writer, how do you ensure, I guess in this case, it would be the scariness of your film?
How do I ensure the scariness? I mean, it's a lot of planning. I mean, it's orchestrating sequences in a way that you think will surprise people, catch people off guard. But also at the same time, it's about setting up a monster and an idea early on, so that that idea can be in people's heads throughout. So we don't see Larry very much in the movie intentionally, but we always feel his presence. He could be sitting next to you right now as you're watching this interview, and you wouldn't know it unless you pulled up your phone and looked for him.
Right, yeah. That's really interesting. That's really cool. So how did Come Play challenge you as a director?
I mean, Come Play was challenging in a lot of ways. Being the biggest film I've ever been a part of was one. Working with an amazing young kid, Azhy Robertson. Working with sort of within the hours that you work with a kid on set. But then also probably the biggest challenge was just creating Larry the monster himself. It was important to me that he was a practical puppet that the Jim Henson Creature Shop created with me. And I think, just making sure we got that right and we made him as eerie as possible. I think that was the biggest challenge for me.
Thank you so much for speaking with me, Jacob. This has been amazing.
Great. Thank you very much for the questions.
It was wonderful speaking with Jacob. What's that? Benjamin Price, my fellow film critic, is joining me to interview Azhy Robertson, who plays Oliver, the protagonist in Come Play. Let's do this! Hi, I'm Eshaan M.
And I'm Benjamin Price.
And we're reporting for Kids First. Today, we're super excited to speak with Azhy Robertson, who plays Oliver in the upcoming horror film Come Play. Azhy has acted in several critically acclaimed films, including Beyond the Night and the Academy Award-winning Marriage Story. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. What was the most fun part of playing Oliver?
Oh my gosh, there are a lot of things. But I feel like the coolest part of playing Oliver was he has autism. He's on the spectrum, so I don't think that community is really represented that much in media. So I thought it would be amazing to play someone on the spectrum.
And did you make any new friends with the other child actors?
Yeah. Jaden, who plays, I think his name is Mateo.
Yeah.
He's one of the characters in Byron's gang. We still call each other once in a while and play some video games, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
Gillian Jacobs and John Gallagher Jr. play your on-screen parents in the film. What did your old grown-up co-stars teach you, and what do you think you taught them?
Well, Gillian in particular, since I have a lot of emotional scenes in this movie, she taught me how to sort of get in that mood a little bit easier by isolating myself from everyone else. Um, and that really helped me concentrate. So that was pretty cool.
And do you feel that performing in Come Play bettered your acting skills in any way?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because I think that's really one of the first things that I had that was really deep and emotional that I did.
In the movie, your character Oliver is nonverbal. How do you prepare for a role that is that unique, a leading one, but with barely even a speaking part? How do you kind of prepare for that?
Well, I think if your character can't speak, then I feel like you have to do twice as much acting
Yeah.
because um, you can't really get a gist of their personalities through their lines because they don't have any. So I tried to give the audience a understanding of Oliver's personality through my behavior and my acting.
And how do you resonate with the genre of horror films in general?
Well, I'm kind of a huge scaredy cat, uh,
I
but
can empathize.
Yeah.
yeah, but I watched Poltergeist, the original, not the reboot, before playing in this movie because I feel like they're kind of similar because they both involve an invisible entity doing some crazy things to a family, and yeah.
Your roles, going off of some of the darker aspects of this movie, your roles have touched on some pretty heavy subject matter: divorce and marriage story, fascism and the plot against America, and now the supernatural in Come Play. As an actor, does the material that can head in darker directions ever weigh on you? And how do you deal with that on and off set?
Well, on set, everyone is great. Like on the plot, marriage story, and this, I feel like they were some of my favorite projects to work on because everyone was so great and so nice to work with. Because it really didn't feel that dark and heavy offset. So I feel like that's pretty nice.
So in the film Come Play, Oliver kind of copes with the supernatural using the SpongeBob theme song. So if you had to cope with, I don't know, a scary creature jumping out of an ebook into your world, what song would you choose to cope with it?
Oh man, that's crazy. That's a really good question. Uh, it's kind of silly, but you know the song "Tub Thumping"
Oh
by
yeah.
Chumbawamba? I think of that because I don't know why. It's just it always gets stuck in my head, and I feel like that's a more upbeat song.
Nice.
I think tub thumping would be it'd be a nice way to distract from the unseen paranormal threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you hope audiences will take away from this film?
I think this is a very interesting film because really Larry, he's sort of empathizable because you can empathize with him because all he wants is a friend because he's lonely, and so is Oliver. And at the core of this movie, it's just about two lonely people. And I feel like that's also shown through Oliver's mom because she wants to connect with Oliver more. And it's something we could all relate to because sometimes we all feel lonely.
Thanks so much for speaking with us today, Ashy. Come Play comes to theaters October 30th. This is Benjamin Price,
And this is Eshaan M,
reporting for Kids First, signing off. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and don't forget to click that notification bell to check out the latest Kids First interview.